The innovation comes in little steps. It's almost organic. You know, a thing looks old suddenly. Like yesterday was cool and today looks old. And it's exactly the same thing. And it's very difficult to explain how this happens. The only explanation is by comparison.
Behance is a story of a bold mission and baby steps. So we wanted to help organize the creative world at work. We really wanted to help put the spotlight on great creative work based on its merit and not necessarily based on who knows who. We started with a basic version of the site where creatives around the world can showcase their latest work and people can follow them and search and discover who's doing what. When we started to tap into the community as a curator, we also started to help curate certain things on our own. And I remember the days when Matthias would be up in the early morning, 2, 3, 4 in the morning sometimes, trying to find stuff to curate.
At the very beginning, it was very much intuition. We knew that to make it successful, we had to showcase the examples that we thought we were going to make other people follow. So examples of work well presented, of work that moves the needle forward. The more we have, the harder it becomes actually, because you get a lot of good projects, but then you have to kind of do the effort of curation.
We recognized we had to invest in professional curation. And so to do that, we evolved this curator role from something that Matthias was doing as part of his role as chief of design and co-founder of the business, to finding Oscar ultimately, and then Oscar finding Nami. And over the years, we've evolved all sorts of unique queue systems, organization features for tagging certain pieces of work as potential for curation in specific fields. We've tried to find ways of making sure that what the community thinks is great is getting in front of the eyes of the curators.
The difference between an art curator and us is that art curator, he goes to find what he wants to curate. They have an idea of the art history and they bring it to an exhibition and they bring the artists that fit in that idea. Our work is completely opposite actually, because we get all these projects and then we just try to put the best in every sense.
Oscar and Nami are both students of art and design and architecture and photography and motion graphics and interactive design. They're constantly trying to find the intersection of all of these fields to gain a better eye.
I keep learning every day and I keep studying every day to know what I'm featuring.
To ensure that the curators can do their work at their very best, we have developed, the queue, which it's a very simple technology, but it was important for us that they could spend the most amount of time just looking at work and making decisions, and building this technology was the best solution to be able to make this curation process after the filtering of the projects the easiest possible.
The technology is not an end for the company. The technology it's a how you say it? It's a tool to achieve our mission.
We want to make sure that each person gets discovered for their work based on what they're best at. And so the search tools and the filter tools and all the different galleries and the way that we allow people to have their own personal websites on their own domain name and everything else that Behance is creating is for people to get their work discovered and for them to discover others. There's this perpetual level of curation that's happening every minute. People are curating millions of projects every day. I mean, there are millions and millions of appreciations that have been given across millions of projects on Behance. And those come from the collective.
As we continue to grow, the job of curating, figuring out who should be featured or not becomes more difficult. And I think we have a very clear idea of how big of a responsibility we have towards the creative community we're serving, and we take that very seriously.
This has been a big learning process in many senses. Every week we get all those emails saying, this changed my life, I have sold all these prints because you put me. I mean, it's really important. It makes a big difference in life of many people.
We have millions of people coming to Behance to explore creative work in all sorts of fields in countries all around the world. And we need to make sure that we are challenging the people that come to discover work. When curation is helping us focus on what's new and exciting, we need to have a more real-time way of great work rising to the surface and seeing the light of day. These are all challenges that we're going to have to figure out as we think about the future of curation of creative work.